Okay, welcome to another episode of The Art of Bird Photography. This episode is devoted to grass. Yes, I have a quick tip about shooting birds in grass that may help you avoid some unsightly background blur or unsightly foreground blur in grass. Okay, so let's get started and look at some examples. Sometimes when you're shooting birds, like with this shot of the southern lapwing, you see that the grass in the foreground is kind of unsightly. It has a little bit of this orange appearance. And the reason why that happens is because for two reasons. Number one, the grass is too dry, and also the grass is too short. Actually, this area of grass is long, but in the foreground, the grass was actually a lot shorter. In this park, they actually refrained from cutting the grass around this lapwing because the lapwing had a nest there. Let's see another example. In this example, you have a similar phenomenon. This is the cattle tyrant. It's a bird that likes to also catch things, well, on the grass. You'll also see the foreground is ugly. It's got some strange elements here, like some grass strands, and it also has a lot of the bare ground being shown, and it creates a very kind of ugly appearance, and it kind of detracts away from the bird. So we want to avoid that. Now, there are two ways to avoid this phenomenon. Number one is if the grass is short, sometimes it actually helps to shoot from a slightly higher angle. This is an example with a black vulture. Yes, there is some foreground grass, but the grass is now smaller in the frame and it's not as apparent. The foreground grass isn't my favorite in this photo, but it's a lot less pronounced than in the photo of the cattle tyrant. So that is one possibility. Shoot a little higher, but not too high, so you still got a lot of background blur. But there's a better technique, and that is if you can find grass that is longer, put your lens right on the ground and have the grass cover part of the lens. If you do that, you're going to get an effect that looks like this in this other southern lapwing shot. See, this is one of my favorite techniques. If you put your lens on the ground where some of the grass is covering the lens at the bottom, you get this sort of very dreamy look in the grass that completely obliterates rough and ugly textures. So that's my tip for the art of bird photography today. If you liked it, I suggest you try it. Go out, shoot through some longer grass. Avoid the shorter grass, especially that dry stuff when there isn't a lot of rain and it gets a little crispy and yellow. That's the worst kind. But if you have longer grass, you can get much better results by shooting through the grass just a little bit. I hope this tip helps you with your bird photography. If it doesn't, maybe try photographing weddings instead.